Hello, everybody. Welcome, Spinal Hygiene doctors, to another training, a Wednesday coaching, or at least spinal hygiene training, if you will. Today is going to be a really important one because the topic of today's coaching or training is creating a consistent stream of new patients. And as a mentor of mine, Dr. Stephen Franson, says, new patients are the lifeblood of your practice. So even when we do build a huge retention, we still want new patients coming in. Retention is a great source. It makes your practice strong, like I call it. It makes it worth something. It makes it valuable. That retention makes sure it decreases stress in your life because you know that there is enough money coming in every month to cover your overhead no matter what, right? And that's what retention is. But you still need a steady stream of new patients to keep your business alive, to keep it thriving, to bring in that extra money that you need to grow. And that's what we're going to be talking about today is creating that consistent stream. I'm going to go over the specific tactics that we use to actually make sure that there's consistent stream of new patients coming in. And if you will, just 1 second, let me make sure everybody's hearing me okay and seeing me okay here. You'll notice if you're watching even from the Facebook page, we're going live in our private group, or if you're watching live from the there we go, good. Yep, sounds good, looks good. If you're on live on spinalhygienedoctor.com/live-class, that's where we're live every Wednesday at 12:30 Central Time. Then you'll see below that video a box that says My Chat Role, and you can log into that chat role and you can place questions, comments, whatever you want there. Of course, with every email I send you guys, I also have my personal email, my personal cell phone, and you're always welcome to call or text or reach out to me like that as well. Just want to make sure that you guys are taken care of and that you have everything that you need. Right. So as we jump into it, I want to tell you this is what we're going to be training on. These are basically, in a nutshell, in a summary, this is what we do in my offices to keep new patients coming in. Number one, monthly dinner workshops. Number two is consistent outside talks. Number three is the day 3 process. I'll explain that in just a second. That increases your talks, it increases your dinners, it basically increases your referrals, okay? And then we also do periodic spinal screenings out in our community. Now that's it, man. I don't know of a lot of other, there are a ton of other marketing tactics that you could use. And you know what? We've used different things here and there. But I would say my core 4, my major things that we do: dinner workshop every month, outside talks every month, day 3 with every patient, and spinal screenings whenever they are around, whenever there's an event, okay? So I just told you the absolute summary. If all you did was stay for 2 minutes and you got that, that is what you need to make sure your office is doing every month. I'm going to repeat it again: dinner workshops, outside talks, the day 3 process with every patient, and spinal screenings. Okay, if you're not doing any of those or one of those, then you might, and you're not getting the new patient numbers that you want, that might be a reason. All right. That being said, let's dive in to dinner workshops first. Now, we just had a dinner workshop on Monday night. We had 65 people in attendance in our dinner workshop. I'm going to share my screen here so you can actually see. I have a picture for you. We do our dinner workshop at Rudy's Mexican Grill and Cantina. And that is me giving the workshop that just happened. Let's see, it's Wednesday, 2 days ago on Monday night. Okay. 65 people in the room. And we had a great time. We don't always get 65 people to a dinner, okay? That was one of our bigger ones. I think we've had 70-something at one point. But sometimes you're going to have big ones, and sometimes you're going to have small ones. If you don't do them consistently, you won't ever have a big one if you don't do them. And I guarantee you, sometimes I come in there and there's 10 people in that room. I've had that happen. Hell, I've had it happen where there was one person there. I knew there was going to be one person at the dinner, and now I would probably cancel that dinner because I just don't feel like today I need to do that. But back in the day, there was one person at the dinner, and you know what I did? I called some friends and family and asked them if they could please attend, if I could buy them dinner, please just be there tonight, right? And they were there, so they ended up being about 6 people in the room instead of 1. And I gave the dinner. The guy signed up, and it started care, and it paid for not only his dinner, but it kept the lights on in my office when I needed to. All right, so I have so many chiropractors, they do one little dinner and not enough people show up, so they quit. I've been doing a dinner every month, with the exception of maybe missing a few months here and there, every month for 8 years, guys. I've been doing a dinner every month for 8 years in my community. So just start doing them consistently. Now I'm going to walk you through the training that is really already inside the members area. If you didn't know that, when you log into your, when you log into the Spinal Hygiene Doctor program, you are taken to this page. This is the home page. If you click on Lunch and Learn, which is the core training in this program, click on Business Lecture Kit or Lunch and Learn, and you click on the presentation right here. Do you realize I do the exact same presentation for all of my Lunch and Learns that I do for all of my dinners? You don't have to memorize a new presentation. It's the exact same one. And I have it here for you that I recorded in high definition, just a video of me doing it. And I actually have a recorded, this is in the same room. So this is very, very recent recording of me doing a dinner. And it's a 26-minute talk. And it's the entire dinner. And from the introduction, from my office staff that introduced me, to me actually doing the talk and the presentation, and you can see exactly what I do. And I don't use a PowerPoint. I use I bring a autonomic nervous system chart, as you can see right there in the background, and I bring my spine. Okay, so a spine and an autonomic nervous system poster, and that's it. And I do the entire presentation without having a PowerPoint. Okay. Now, some of you want a PowerPoint. I did put the PowerPoint that I used to use at all my Lunch and Learns, and the entire presentation that I used to use here when I did use PowerPoints, and I give you the PowerPoint. So if you do want to use a PowerPoint, if you feel better using a PowerPoint, do this presentation with a PowerPoint. It's a little bit different presentation because this one does not require a PowerPoint. Or you can make your own PowerPoint if you use this presentation. I'm just telling you, my dinner presentation is there. So your Lunch and Learn presentation should be the exact same presentation as your dinners. And it's all in that program. But let's talk about setting up dinners. Okay, I'm going to take you through the setup process and how the dinner is conducted, because I think it's that important. We do our dinners on the first Monday of every month. Okay, that I just started doing that. I just kept doing that first Monday of every month. It makes it easy. I don't know that you have to do that. You could pick any night of the week and any day of the month to do it. Let's see. You want a restaurant with a private room. Okay. Now I mean private room, not like a side of the restaurant that's open to the rest of the restaurant. You want a room that has a door on it where you can open and close that door, and you can get away from the noise and the hustle and bustle of the rest of the restaurant. Once you find that restaurant, it doesn't have to be like a very, very expensive restaurant. I think we pay $19 a plate for the Mexican food restaurant, and what they do is a buffet style fajita dinner. So they make beef fajitas and chicken fajitas and all the sides or whatever, the Mexican sides. I do the presentation. So I come in, I get there, we do the presentation starts at 6:30. I get there right at 6:30 or literally 5 minutes late. Like, I do not want to be 10 minutes early to a dinner and have to stand there awkwardly in the corner and answer questions and see people and do all that. I mean, to me, it just feels awkward to do that. So I'm either right on time or I'm a couple minutes late coming in. My staff is there early, though. My staff is there about 15, 20 minutes early, sometimes 30 minutes early. And they tell the waiters and the waitresses, this is the instructions to your waiters. You want to tell them, look, as soon as people get here, you get their drink orders and bring them their drinks. Because when Dr. Tabor gets here at 6:30, he's going to start the talk, and everybody needs to have their drinks. Now we're doing it buffet style, so they don't have to take their food orders. But when we did our presentations at Texas Land and Cattle, we had the waiters and the waitresses come in, get their drink order and their food order. And as soon as the people arrive, excuse me, and they had to make sure that they were really on top of that, because as soon as I get there at 6:30, we got to start the talk, and everybody needs to have a drink, and everybody needs to have, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Everybody needs to have their drink, and everybody needs to have their food order in. Okay. Now you want somebody to introduce you. My staff, I'll be honest, like they're getting better. The intros are getting better, but they're not great. But just have somebody basically do some housekeeping, announce some of the announcements or events that are going on in your office, and then just have them introduce you. That way, everybody can clap before you actually go up there and start talking. Watch the video to see my presentation, but I got a cool opening now. I'll just give you the opening because it doesn't take very long. So my staff's going to say, everybody welcome Dr. Tabor Smith, and then clap. And then I'm silent for about, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds just to kind of grab the room. $31 billion. That's how much money the late, great Steve Jobs was worth when he died. How many know who Steve Jobs is? He was the Apple guy, right? How many of you would like to be worth $31 billion? Raise your hand. Yeah, me too. But watch this. Knowing that in 2011, Steve Jobs was diagnosed and passed away from pancreatic cancer. And right now, he's buried in a cemetery in Palo Alto, California. How many of you would switch places with Steve Jobs for $31 billion? I didn't think so. You know why? Because your health is worth more than $31 billion. And tonight, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to share with you the most important thing you can know about your body, the most important thing that you can know about your health, and how you can avoid some of the biggest killers in the United States right now. But before we do that, I want to commend you. I want to acknowledge you for being here, blah, 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 blah. That's my intro, okay? So grabbing them right off the front, it's awesome. I think it's really cool. Okay, so I do the presentation. It takes me like 30 minutes to do the presentation. And then after the presentation, everybody can get up and go through the buffet. My staff knows, like, you can do it different ways. Like Dr. Zaino has a sheet that's sitting in front of them, and they just circle the time they want and the day they want or whatever, and then the staff goes and picks those sheets up. My staff, I don't do that. I think it's hard to know like what person's going to pick what day, what person's going to pick what time when you're doing that. If you don't care, if you have like a lot of associate doctors and they can come in anytime and it doesn't matter if you get overbooked, you know, that's one thing. But what I do is I have my staff go from person to person, table to table with the schedule and ask them if they'd like to make their appointment. If it's just me doing new patients, then I charge $117 for my exams at the office. Now we have an associate, and my wife is able to help me some now. So what we started doing was we actually go down and I charge $47 for an exam. That's how much I charge for my exams at the dinner. So it's the only place they can get the exam for $47. Everywhere else, my exams are $117, okay? But if they are at the dinner and they have that discount and they sign up at the dinner, not after the dinner, then, and they pay for it at the dinner as well, then my exams are $47. That's the discount. Okay, so they go around person to person and they sign up all the new patients. Oh, by the way, I didn't even tell you. Okay, you're probably wondering this. We had 65 people in the dinner on Monday night, and we signed up 19 new patients. Now realize, I know you're like, well, there's 65 people there and you only signed up 19 new patients. Now, first of all, 19 new patients, I don't care how many people were there, 19 new patients is awesome, okay? Secondly, 15 of those 65 were semi-pro football players, and we just became the team chiropractor for the Texas Raiders. That is a Houston Texan semi-pro football team, and 15 of those players were at the dinner, and they've already had exams and they're already scheduled. They just haven't been through the dinner and the process or whatever. So 15 of them are off. So then you think, well, about 19 out of 50 schedule an exam. And then when you think about half of the people out of that 50, maybe a little less than half, were patients, then it makes more sense. 19 out of about 25 people scheduled. I don't think that's bad. I mean, I think that's really good. I know some doctors are like, oh, we signed up 120% of the people in the room. Good for you. That's amazing. But I'll take 19 new patients any day. Now, with 65 people in there, the bill, it gets decent. It gets expensive relatively. Like with 19 new patients, we're gonna make more return on investment than we did on any other dinner with 19 new patients. But that dinner cost me about $1,400. But the dinners that we only have about 20 to 25 people, they only cost me about $400 or $500, maybe $600, and it's worth it, man. You sign up one person. My average care plan is $1,700, and I know that's less. Well, and I'm not counting retention. Okay, so lifetime for my patients are probably $3,000, $4,000, but just the initial corrective care plan is what I'm talking about. Is about $1,700. So if I sign up one person, I pay for it and made money. And out of 19 people, we better sign up 10 at least people. And so they're looking at $17,000. So would you pay $1,400 to get back $17,000 all day long, any day? And they were good patients. They're going to be good patients. Some of them. So how we get them there? Okay, let's talk about that. Well, I'm going to tell you about the day 3 process. That's the #1 way to get people there. We're going to talk about that in just a second. The other way to get them there was I have an email list. So every time we do spinal screenings, every time we go out in the community, on my website, there's a place where people can opt in to leave their email and download a free ebook. So we are constantly trying to collect emails from the community. So I have an email list, and every time we do a dinner, I blast it out to that email list and invite them to the dinner. So we have, a good couple handfuls of people who came from my email list. We had patients who came and brought friends and family. And we had about, I'd say 6 people that came in from our Facebook ad. So we do a Facebook ad for the dinners. We localize it. So we do a Facebook ad for a 10-mile radius around our office. And we had about 6 people that came to the dinner from that Facebook ad. Okay. So 19 new patients from that process. All right. So that is the dinner. Literally, what you have to do, step 1, is you have to go find the restaurant that has a private room. Tell them that you want to book it and book your dinner for whatever day you want to do it on. We do it the first Monday of every month at 6:30 p.m. That's what you want to do it, but just book it. Then you have to promote it, and then you have to do it. Okay? So that's the dinner. Look, dinner doesn't always bring me in 19 new patients a month. Sometimes it's 5 new patients. Sometimes it's 2 new patients. Sometimes it's 10 new patients. But you have to have all of these streams that are consistently dropping something into your office. That dinner, whether it's big or small, is consistently dropping something into my office. Okay? So let's move on to the next one, is outside talks. We want to have at least 2 outside talks set up per month. I have another lunch and learn this Friday at this company. I don't even know what it is. It's called Flexible Employee or Flexible Employers or something like that. I think it's a staffing, I think it's a company that tries to find people jobs is what I think it is. But I don't know what it is. But my staff set up the talk, and this Friday at noon, I give a lunch and learn to them. I'm going to do the same exact talk I do in my dinner. It's like doing a dinner workshop, but I'm taking the food to the business and doing my dinner workshop. Does that make sense? So how do you set up outside talks? Well, #1, we talked about this inside the program. That whole area of the program that's called Lunch and Learn is to show you how to set up outside talks. You need to be having a time where you're sitting down, looking at all the businesses that are in your community, deciding which ones that you want to go to. Then you're trying to call them on a specific time, on a specific day, and you call them and you say, hi, this is Dr. Tabor with Pure Life Chiropractic. We're like your neighbor. We're right down the road from you. And right now I'm doing a community outreach where I'm actually doing free health, ergonomic and spinal hygiene workshops for employees. And I'd love to set one up with you guys. Is there an email to somebody who's in charge of setting up that type of thing? If I could get their email, I can send them a really cool packet and tell them all about it. Where would I get that email? Boom. I got the email, write an email down, and then I just follow that system that's inside the Spinal Hygiene Doctor membership, where you take the template of the email, you send them the email with the flyer, and you try to schedule that talk. Work it, man. Work it back and forth between that business until you set that talk up. I mean, how easy is that? I mean, it's work, but you got to do it. You got to have to set up those outside talks and have somebody who can do that for you, okay? So there's calling, right? There's networking. So I send my staff, and I used to go myself, and sometimes I still do go to some of the chamber events, the B&I groups, and you need to, like, when you mingle or when you stand up to give your 30-second elevator speech, it's not this, okay? A lot of people say, hi, I'm Dr. Tabor Smith. I'm a chiropractor. A great referral for me is someone with low back pain. If you know someone, please send them to Pure Life Chiropractic. Dude, you're getting one referral at a time. No, we want 20 new patients at a time. We want to really be efficient. So here's your 30-second elevator speech. Hello, I'm Dr. Tabor Smith with Pure Life Chiropractic. A great referral for me is someone in the HR department or an entrepreneur, a business owner, someone who has employees, so that I can come to their place of business and give an absolutely free lunch and learn, while I'll actually provide a healthy lunch to your employees and teach them about the powerful effects of taking care of their spine. We call it our spinal ergonomic and spinal health workshop. So if you can, anybody that can set that up for me would be absolutely awesome. Boom, I just made that up off the fly. Because guys, that's what you want. You want to be getting in these places to actually do the talks so that you can get bundles of new patients at a time, right? That's what we want, okay? So networking, so we talked about calling the businesses, networking, and then your day 3, all right? Your day 3 is going to be, that's what we're going to go into in just a second. I'm going to show you how to do the day 3. Let me see. I got an email for you guys. I got a lady that she sets these talks up for me. Every once in a while, she sends me a couple talks. She does this for a living. I pay her $300 a talk that she sets up. Let me see if I can get her email for you, because she could do this in some other. She has, like, a website. She's actually from Health Talks USA. Her name is Kim. And I've sent this to you guys before and posted it into the members area on Facebook, but I don't know that anybody ever took advantage of it. Kim at healthtalksusa.com. Kim at healthtalksusa.com. Email her, tell them what town you're in, tell her you want her to set up talks for you. You don't even have to pay her to do this unless she sets one up for you, and you pay $300, and that is something I'll pay all day long. If somebody wants a job in my office just making $300 for every talk they set up, they have a job all day long for the rest of their life. I'll pay them to do that, right? Because it's worth way more than that to set up those talks. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about day 3. All right, you have the day 3 sheet in the members area. Let me see if I can find that day 3 sheet, and I can share my screen so you can see it here. Basically, the day 3 sheet, okay, let me explain what day 3 is. So in my office, I do day 1, when a new patient comes in, it's their exam, day 1 exam. Then once they go get the exam and their x-rays, we schedule them for day 2. Day 2 is their report of findings or their doctor's report, right? So they come back for the doctor's report. They decide on that day in their doctor's report whether they want to start care in my office, because I'm going to give them my best recommendations, and they're either going to say, yes, we'll accept your recommendations, or they're going to say, no, we don't want to start care in the office, or whatever it is, right? I'm still looking for that sheet here. Just a second. I'll make sure I send it to you guys. Okay, so day 1 was the exam. Day 2 is the report of findings. Day 3 is where they said, yes, we want to start care in your office. And so they're going to come in and they're going to get their, actually technically it would be their second adjustment, because after they say that they want to start care in the office, then I will, all right, I can't find the day 3 sheet. I'll send it to you guys. Okay. After they say, yes, we'll start care, I get them adjusted. Then they're scheduled for their next real visit where they come in and they get adjusted and they go through the rehab. And then after they get adjusted, go through the rehab, they stop back at the front desk and my staff goes over their spinal hygiene products. They go over their spinal molding rolls, their wobble discs, their resistance bands, the range of motion exercises. They get their kit, and then they get the day 3 sheet. And the day 3 sheet says, okay, we have a dinner coming up this next Monday at 6:30 at Rudy's Mexican Grill and Cantina. Can we expect you to be there, right? Okay, good. Are you going to bring any guests? Can you bring anybody, spouse? Can you bring guests? You got to have any guests? We'll write them down here. Great. And then we also, in the bottom of that, it says, can we set up a lunch and learn at your place of business? And so, boom, right there, you're setting up talks just from the new patients that came in. You're like, yeah, Dr. Tabor will provide a lunch for you and your employees. He'll come in and do an ergonomic health and spinal health workshop. It's a lot of fun. It's a great deal. And your coworkers get to learn about what you got to learn about during this new patient process. And a lot of times you'll get to set up talks just from that day 3 process. Okay, so that's hugely important. Now imagine this. You're calling businesses every week. You're going to networking groups and you're telling them that a best referral for you is somebody who can help you set up talks. You're emailing Kim and you're seeing if she can help you or not. Your day 3 where your new patients come in and you're asking them if you can set up a lunch and learn at their place of business. Why could you not get at least one outside talk a month? Like if you had a dinner talk every month, you had an outside talk every month, and then you did this last thing that we're going to talk about, which is trying to find a spinal screening to do every month, you would have 40 to 50 new patients coming in consistently every month, and you'd be growing your practice. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is spinal screenings. I've been doing spinal screenings since before I was a chiropractor. That's right. I actually did spinal screenings through chiropractic school to make extra money, help the chiropractors in the Dallas area. I went to school at Parker. Spinal screenings, and that will determine which one you do. This will determine which one that you do. There are small spinal screenings and there are large spinal screenings, and they're not one better than the other. Okay, the only difference is that if you are really hungry for new patients, you need them, you're new into practice, you need to learn like communication skills with people, you need to get out into the public and so people know you're there. You want to do both small and large spinal screenings. Okay, you want to do it all as every weekend if you can. Practice for a while, you're fairly busy, and it's not as efficient for you to do the small spinal screenings anymore. Then you want to just do the large ones. Okay, and that's what we do now. It's just the large spinal screenings. So let me explain the difference between a small spinal screening and a large spinal screening. Small spinal screenings can be set up anytime, anywhere, and they are in like businesses, like for instance, the Vitamin Shop. I don't know if those things are all over the country or not, but here in Texas, we have the Vitamin Shop. You can almost every time, guaranteed, no matter what, get into a Vitamin Shop and do a spinal screening. I mean, I don't know any Vitamin Shop that will kick you out or not let you do a spinal screening there. You can literally go do it. When I first started practice, I did every Saturday and every Sunday for 2 hours at the Vitamin Shop, no matter what. And I would get 1 new patient or maybe 2 new patients a weekend. But when you're new into practice, if you don't do that on the weekends, you don't have any new patients coming in during the week. And if you have weeks go by where you have 0 new patients, your practice will fall. It will fall no matter what. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it because people are going to move. People, like, even if you have amazing patients that are lifetime chiropractic patients, some of them get a job in a different town and they have to move. Some of them get in a car accident and they're in the hospital. They can't even come in for their visit or something. Like, you're just going to have things happen and people that drop out. If you have no new patients coming in, you can't stay in business. Okay. I mean, I just don't know of anybody unless you're like, you built up this 2,000 a week practice and then all of a sudden, like, you're like, okay, I'm going to stop new patients for a while. But then I guarantee you it's going to slowly, very slowly go down because people are going to change, move, things are just going to happen, right? Okay, so that being said, you can set up those small spinal screenings at grocery stores, gyms. I was at every gym I could possibly get in, you know, anywhere that you can do it. You can even find small health fairs, or you can find flea markets, or you can find craft shows, and you can do spinal screenings there if you need to. That's the small ones, okay? The large spinal screenings are awesome, and every chiropractic office should do them. They are not that intense. You could probably only do one large spinal screening every quarter to maybe one a year, depending on where you live. Like here in Houston, we could probably get away with trying to find one large one every month or two, and we try to, right? And the best thing that you can do to set those up is to go to the areas that are big venues. Like for instance, near my office, we have the Berry Center. The Berry Center is a big gymnasium, basically, and they do health fairs there. They do boat shows, home and garden shows, and those big events, that's where you actually have to pay for a booth. And now I invest $1,500 for a booth, but like 7,000 people come through there, okay? And every time we do a screening, like at a home and garden show or a boat show or a big giant health fair, we'll get 20 to 30 new patients. And like I said, I'll pay $1,000 to get 20, 30 new patients any day of the week. Every opportunity I get, I will grab that to be able to do that. All right. So that's what you need to do, man. Consistent drips of new patients, attracting those new patients with the dinner workshop every month, with outside talks every month, with your day 3, because you're not only getting referrals, you're setting up outside talks, and you're getting people to your dinner with your day 3 of every new patient that comes into your office. And you're setting up spinal screenings, both small and large, if you're a smaller office and you really need to hustle to get bigger, or just large. If you're where you want to be, but you still want to grow, just go to those big events. Find the big venues that are in your area and go get their schedule. Like if you have a gymnasium, if you have a conference center, if you have big churches, go ask them if they have events, go ask them if they have schedules, and then see if you can get a booth for those events. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this presentation and this training. I'm going to double check and kind of refresh some screens here to see if there are any questions. Feel free to send me questions, email, text, Facebook. If you're on Facebook, definitely friend request me. And all right, that looks like we're good here. Great. Thanks, guys. Y'all have an awesome rest of your week. Tomorrow night, I have another webinar. If you're on the list, you should have got an email. It's the Spinal Hygiene Retention webinar, and it's going to actually promote this program anyway, so you're already part of this program. But sometimes, you know, I enjoy being on webinars as well. You guys are all welcome to be on. Thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you very soon. If you need anything, let me know.